Greetings technicians and my good people of the PCL. This is a brand new series that I am bringing to the channel for season 4 of the PCL. It will be a bi-weekly series going up once every 2 weeks, covering some of the top plays and sets over the course of 2 weeks. I would like to make a disclaimer prior to me starting the ranking. Most of these sets are what was posted under the top plays channel in the PCL Discord. I do apologize in advance if I overlooked any sets that wasn't posted. The placement of these plays and sets are based on a combination of execution and evaluation of the set itself. I tried not to be biased during the making of these videos, but do understand some degree of personal opinion and judgment may be unavoidable. So let's just get started on the video, shall we? First of all, I would like to make honorable mentions to the Como O play from Jimmy in the Week 1 match between the Monster Mimikyus and the Jolia Jotics, where the Mimikyus proceed to click close combat with the Como O against the Celesteela and Gardevoir, despite it was locked into close combat after being tricked a Scarf from the opposing Gardevoir, and was be able to 2-hit KO the Flygon on the following turn as well. This is an excellent playing coming from Jimmy to be able to take advantage of the over prediction from the Jotics, and will be on the list if the set itself put into work. But there's no deny on excellent and great execution coming from Jimmy, coach of the Monster Mimikyus. So for the number 5 spot, we have Hustle the Crustle coming from Week 1 match between the Crystal Bay Cragnos and the Dragon's Den. Even though the set is relatively standard from Brian, but his execution was excellent. During the game, he was being able to set up a Shell Smash with the right window against the opposing Mew and proceed to almost sweep the opposing team with a Tier 5 Mon. It would have been if he called the 50-50 correctly against Mega Gyarados. This play will also be higher on the list for the same reason. At number 4 spot, we have Nixon the Crocodile in the Week 1 match between the Colorado Avalok and the Boston Celebes, where Cradley was managed to set up a substitute against the opposing Execute, predicting a switch out, even though the Execute did not switch out that turn, but it was definitely a respectable prediction. Then proceed to severely dent Celebes with the combination of Bulk Up and Dual Stab. The Bulk Up came in clutch against the sub not being broken by Stone Edge coming from the opposing Gigalith. This will be higher on the list if Pashelberry also put in work in this match. Good playing from Cridley, nevertheless. At number 3 spot, we have Wilfred the Rotom Frost in the Week 2 game between Jolia Jotics and the New York Glysker. In this game, Paluki was being able to play his Rotom Frost almost perfectly as a pivot and as an offensive presence. After the Choice Scarf was initially knocked off by the opposing Raichu, he managed to trick himself a leftover, stealing it from the opposing Tapu Bulu, which hinders the longevity of the Bulu while proven to be useful later on in the game as Rotom Frost was poisoned by the Zapdos. He was able to take the Life Orb, boost the Vacuum Wave relatively well due to the special defense investment as well early game. Then use the stolen leftovers to the best of his advantage to counteract the poison. After the initial dent on Lucario, while proceed to keep the rocks away from Nidoking with Defog, then knock out the Tapu Bulu and heavily dent the Raichu. Paluki and his fantastic execution in this game definitely earned him a well-deserved number 3 spot this week. For number 1 spot, we have a two-way tie between Winnie the Miltank and Tapu Fury the Tapu Fini. In a Week 2 game between the Toronto Maple Leafeons and the Lucifer Riolus, Lo-Fi managed to pull an offensive switch into Miltank against the Jellicent and get burned from the incoming Will-O-Wisp, triggering his Facade. Severely dent the Kieran Black and pick up 2 one-hit KOs off the Riolus with a Choice Bandit Scrappy Facade. The Riolus did not realize the scrappy potential of the Miltank at the time. Definitely props to Lo-Fi being able to pull the offensive trigger at the right time on that Miltank, open up a huge hole on the Riolus. I mean, who would have thought a cow could have slayed a dragon too without relying on rollouts? Tied at first place, we have Tapu Fury the Tapu Fini from Week 2 game between the Primordial Cold Surgers and the Midgard Manectrics. In this game, Fury did not have too many answers for the opposing P2. He was forced to stack his own Magnezone to get a free switch into the Tapu Fini, then proceed to trick the Toxic Orb onto the P2, then set up Calm Minds to almost one-shot the incoming Jolteon, combined with its own Flame Orb damage. Granted, the P2 did not get poisoned right away due to the misty terrain, but it did trigger at a later point in the game when the terrain runs out. A smart way for Fury to get past his own misty terrain to be able to cripple the opposing P2 for sure, which otherwise would have likely swept his team at that point. A well-deserved number 1 spot for our Raccoon Boy this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to comment below on what is your favorite set of the week. If you would like your sets to be featured, please make sure to put them in the top place channel under the PCL Discord. That will probably be your best bet. I will be going over the replays posted there on bi-weekly basis and try to evaluate them to the best of my abilities. Until next time, Admin Crow here, signing off. Goodbye, technicians.